If you are a growth marketer or a young entrepreneur keen to find out how to best choose a tech stack to avoid overpaying, this place is for you. How to choose less to do more. We are having today Virginia, the MobileMonkey marketing director. Thank you for joining today, episode 6 of Which Apps for Business, next to myself, Nadia Berker, who is happy to welcome you. Virginia, thank you, and please let us know in a few words a little bit about yourself. Who is Virginia Nussey, and why have you chosen to work for MobileMonkey?
It's such an honor and pleasure to be here with you, Nadia, on the Which Apps show. As the marketing director at MobileMonkey, I am a marketer myself. So talking about the apps that work for marketers is kind of like what I live every day. And I'm excited to kind of talk about what, problems we're facing in the marketing world, what the challenges are with the new technologies. And myself, I've been with MobileMonkey for 4 years. And I work closely with Larry Kim, who is our company founder, and he's quite the impressive marketer as well. His first company, WordStream, which you might be familiar with, was an ad automation and tech platform. So we get to do a lot of really fun wild things. He's kind of a marketing mad scientist. And by pushing some of the boundaries of marketing, we've learned about a lot of what's really working and what kind of solutions aren't in the market. And that's what we've developed for ourselves and our customers.
Sounds excellent. And by what you were telling me about your career being there for 4 years now, and the fact that you're working very closely with Larry, who I suppose now is legendary by the many emails that I receive from him and over the years, literally, right? Starting from WordStream, as you've rightly mentioned, this was an amazing tool for PPC, which my primarily background is in. And so for us, WordStream, the first company that was quite helpful. Now, in the world of automation, I suppose since you're 4 years with MobileMonkey, it's something that is obviously holding you there. Why have you joined the company and why are you still there?
There's so much talk, these days about the workforce changing and like how important company culture is and, having like values that are aligned with like the mission of the business that you're working with. And that's what's kept me at MobileMonkey. I love the ability to be creative without having, kinds of consequences for like tests maybe failing, because like you fail way more than you succeed with like testing, experimentation, and that kind of thing. So I love the focus on unicorns, which was something that, when you are working with a team that values unicorns, and that's a metaphor for the campaigns and people and ideas that like have 98% of the results, but with like 10% of the effort. It's about finding campaigns, in the case of marketing, that really resonate with your audience, that product market fit, and then multiplying unicorn babies. So we have a lot of fun in the marketing team, being kind of creative, testing, experimenting, with a great team, an amazing team who listens to our, customers and what they need. And the product that we've been developing has been really fast moving over the last 4 years. We kind of started as an automation platform for Facebook Messenger. And after, hearing what our customers are really using this automation for, we've developed into a sales automation tool that spans channels. So the problem is, I think, that marketers spend a lot of time running campaigns across, whether it's your social media channels, your email channels, your website, and to know where am I really getting the most value out of everything that I'm doing is the question. And like, do I have leads in here that aren't being followed up with? Where are my, best opportunities for my sales team? That's like what a marketer is doing every day. What we've found is a way to identify who the best opportunities are, make sure that the sales team is notified, nurturing those opportunities and leads, and like that's kind of how things have developed over the last 4 years, and why it's still very exciting in the MobileMonkey world.
Thank you, Virginia. You've quite interestingly mentioned your team and how agile you guys are in terms of looking after what the clients are telling you through the insights you're collecting, but also through the trends that you might be monitoring as to what are the best practices currently and from the clients that you're working with. In terms of you guys working together, would there be any particular achievements that you feel you as a team have put forward together following the trends and the insights they've collected from customers?
I would say I'm very excited lately about unicorn X-ray vision. So this is kind of our newest offering based on the technology that we have developed. So MobileMonkey has developed a network of over 250 million opted-in internet users. And so now when visitors to your website, when we scan all the visitors to your website and we find that any of them, we can share their contact information with you, and you can send sales outreach automation. And the reason that this is so powerful is because most of your website visitors are abandoning, they're exiting, they're not filling out your forms. Average conversion rate is something like 2 to 4% on a web page.
With you.
So,
Yes,
what if you had the opportunity to say, send an email or a text message like, hey, saw you were visiting the website, and like wanted to make sure you didn't miss out on, whatever offering or something that you have that's like matched to this person who you already know has some kind of warm affinity to you, or at least understands, like, that they're looking for the solutions that your business provides because they were on your website. So it's kind of our mission at MobileMonkey to make sure that no lead gets lost in the shuffle. And we found that something like 98% of SMBs are not following up with every lead. So if you're, a small or mid-market business and, you're running ads and you're getting that maybe 4% conversion rate on the web landing page, or maybe 10% if you're like best in class, you can actually capture those exits and those abandons, and your conversion for that landing page can be like 30%. And that's the kind of revolutionary new lead capture rate that Unicorn X-Ray is providing.
See, that sounds fantastic from the point of capturing the visitors' data. They would be the ones that are cold, in a sense that they would have visited your site, but for them to become the actual purchasers or the actual leads for you that you would want to then, establish a relationship and actually consider them as clients, there's a little bit of a step forward to be made. Now, I appreciate that you have created, as I understand, a type of proposition that currently isn't on a market from anyone else's side of things, right? So you're currently thinking that this is something exclusive and new, is it?
Yes, it is. It's new. We're rolling it out with a few different businesses today. And it's especially been effective for businesses that have a kind of more sales consultative approach, where, there's that meeting, that one-to-one meeting that you want to have. I think there's other abandonment tools for e-commerce and that kind of thing, but for more of the in-person, face-to-face sales model, that's where this is kind of a new technology.
I would definitely resonate to the need of something like that, because as you're saying, the abandonment rate is very high, and we as advertisers, as retailers, or have many other businesses and other verticals are utilizing the transactional tools. We know that the conversion rate is very tiny, and we know that we have rare occasions to actually go back to the same user base that have visited our site and never would have come back if we wouldn't have that connection with them again. So to your point of how would we know who they are? How far do you guys go down that route? Because it could be privacy related.
So the network of internet users are all opted in like various ways. Of course, there's going to be certain privacy issues with that a business might run into if they're kind of hitting the limits of scale. Um, so like an email marketing platform like MailChimp, and I know HubSpot as well, has like higher standards for opt-in before you start messaging a business. And then that's actually something that we've addressed inside of Unicorn X-Ray, which is that we've created a kind of safe cold prospecting space. So we have a number of different tools for email warm-up, for maximizing deliverability, and kind of a whole system in place to ensure that these more soft opt-in kind of contacts that you're receiving will see your message and then also engage with it without risk to your domain reputation, your email sending capabilities, and that kind of thing. So it's kind of a bit of secret sauce, but it's I don't know if you've ever done cold email outreach.
Yes, the teams would have done it in the past. It not necessarily always works, as we know. It's very difficult to find out that golden recipe that would actually make a difference in terms of connecting to the user and keeping that relationship going long term. But it's one thing to actually, send a few emails and then hope that they would actually notice it, or because there's so many other emails they receive, right? But
Right.
it's not easy. Short answer.
Yeah, it's not. When I started doing the reason that we started doing cold outreach is because like inbound only is going to limit you to like a certain pool of people who are looking for your solution. Whereas, you might know based on like a certain customer profile that you're targeting that there are other businesses out there that would be a great match for what you provide. And so, with cold outbound, you can find businesses that really match your customer profile and would receive a ton of value from what you offer. But there's so many challenges to cold outreach, like you said, being noticed in the inbox, staying out of spam filters, finding your ideal prospects. And after lots and lots of experience and experimentation in that space, we have kind of come up with this formula that is that's showing great results so far, like 70% open rates, 10 to 20% response rates. And that's what we're excited to bring to the marketing world today.
Well, it does sound exciting, and I'd be very keen to try it my end because, as we know, I've recently onboarded, so I'd be very keen. Meanwhile, I'd be very curious to find out from your specifications in terms of what you've been working on and took most of your time to be able to unleash that, curiosity based, as we call it, yeah, and make sure that you've actually turned out some of the customers' actual needs into actionable products out there. So we know that you've got products such as Facebook automation, you've got Instagram automation, you're preparing to work on WhatsApp, if I'm not mistaken, right? What else would you say that you've actually nailed it to the ground with the proposition that you guys have?
Yeah, coming up with messaging, right? That is an evolutionary process, I think, for marketers. So the things that have really informed our process is having a really close relationship with the sales team. I think that, having processes, meetings in place where you're sharing your insights about what's resonating in sales calls. And that's actually something that goes through the whole organization. Like the product team and the engineering team has to understand what it is that people are looking for, and so we've actually made a huge shift in the product offering since the beginning of the year. And it's all been based on these insights from our customer team, our sales team, and then hearing, what it is that they're getting the most value out of, what's generating the results, and kind of turning that into a product and an organization that reflects those kind of findings.
Very interesting, Virginia. Thank you. Hearing you out points me to the direction of it feels like more and more businesses would need to be aware of the propositions such as this, because especially when most recently working on some projects which would require lead generation ahead of any transactional points, right? Because you want to first, especially if you're a service-based business, you would want to first capture that intent in the form of an email address and then have that conversation forward to then move them over down the purchase funnel. If that's the case, then how to be able to be more effective in terms of letting the potential customers know that you're out there. Now, I know that obviously you've got a strong audience in the US. What about the UK, where I'm coming from at the minute? Because I know you guys from various other sources, such as the VIP list from Larry's, but there might be some other versions or options that you guys might be advertising yourselves.
We do have a strong audience in the US. I think also in the UK and other countries in North America, we have a good presence there as well. We haven't really done too much in the way of country targeting right now. So maybe that's like an opportunity for us. Yeah, I mean, kind of what's your experience or how you ran into MobileMonkey would be my next question to better understand, or like, that location opportunity of audience, reaching an audience.
I will definitely give you a little bit more details into that because there's been a story behind. So I'll leave it for our own communication later on. But yeah, it's been a long term since I know you guys, probably similar to however long you've been in the company, roughly for 4 years at least, just before COVID struck. So it's been on my list for some time now. And now that I've had actual, projects that have entailed that service-based client, then it immediately, the need for something like that came up. And I thought about you guys, that I knew that you guys offer something in the market that is fairly unique. Now, in terms of, because otherwise I might, as a marketer, I might be seen as I'm doing the advertising for you guys, which I'm not with the purpose of. I'm just trying to be relevant with not only my needs, but actually the needs on the market of some similar advertisers, right? From that perspective, I'm very keen to find out from what you guys have learned so far. Are there any particular challenges when using the tool such as MobileMonkey? I'll tell you of mine that I've come across in particular. So say, for instance, as a business, you're utilizing a tool such as this for messaging automations on Facebook. You can then utilize it on Instagram. How do you make your conversational flow as authentic as possible so that user doesn't associate that with a bot and rather thinks that it's still a human being? Because the frustration comes along, I have to say. Not mine, the users.
I will preface this for the audience with I've talked a little bit about like our email tools and stuff, but MobileMonkey is also will integrate with Instagram, Facebook, your Facebook or Instagram ads, website chat, and now email and SMS. So all of these channels are supported, and basically the way I think about and this kind of ties into what you said earlier, like the lead generation component. A lot of times we talk about social media as kind of a awareness channel, or there's a branding kind of component to it. There's a lot of just keeping the lights on to make sure that your business looks authentic and legitimate. But the whole strategy around Instagram can be a challenge for a lot of businesses, especially in the services space. But lifestyle coaching, commerce, like those are verticals that I think can see a more direct return from their Instagram marketing. But where does a services-based business kind of fit in the Instagram world is a challenge. So rather than kind of racking your brain with reels for a digital marketing agency, or behind the scenes content or something like that, what we found is that, you're probably publishing a lot of content, maybe on a blog, maybe you have a YouTube channel, like wherever your content marketing is happening. And then Instagram can be a place to kind of share like a carouselized version or like a preview of. And so if you do have this content and you want to link people from Instagram to another channel, that's been difficult historically because of having a direct link. You can't do that in a post. You've only recently been able to add a link to like a story with that sticker. People have kind of done this workaround with the link in bio for a while, but that can be a bit of a maze. Like, where is that post that I'm looking for that I want to get the link to? It's not really direct, kind of one-to-one correlation between the content that you shared and this place off of Instagram that you can get more information. So with Instagram DM automation, this has changed. And now marketers have a way to send traffic off of Instagram in a more seamless experience by linking a user or visitor or Instagram fan from one piece of content that they're viewing to that resource that's off of Instagram. And the way that works is if somebody comments or interacts with like a story reaction or story mention, if they interact with that content through a comment, then you can send a follow-up in the DMs with more information. So that's kind of like a new workflow, a new funnel that you can create with your Instagram content. And then like, I think your original question was like, how do you make it not feel so automated or like bot, like impersonal and that kind of thing. I think that a couple of important things to keep in mind is to kind of keep it short and to the point. A lot of times more complex, sequences of conversations. It's hard to get around that feeling very automatic. So I like to do the comment autoresponders with just like, here's the information you're looking for. And then like, let us know if, we can talk more or like a follow-up with an invitation to kind of engage deeper. That's like an optional kind of thing. These tools, by the way, are also the DM automation is also a great way to run contests, which are very, useful on Instagram, whether it's a contest for, growing your audience or for, getting more engagement on some content there. That's another use case for the DM automation. Did I answer your question? I felt like I was going for a long time.
No. I definitely feel it's very, not only insightful as a topic, because it's the kind of where the future is going, isn't it? Because the more and more services out there would want to have a high degree of automation ultimately, but at the same time you would want to, as you said yourself, to make it look like it's less of a bot-enabled conversation, more of a human, at least curated conversation. And it actually is, if you think about the sequences in that conversation flow that you've mentioned yourself, right? You're trying to preempt. It's like I'm getting this with an analogy with the Queen's Gambit, at Netflix, this bestseller series, right? Where I love it too. It's been so refreshing. It's basically trying to preempt what's the next potential question or reaction from the user might be. And the more successful you are at that, the better is your conversational flow, and the less is that feel of being inauthentic, right? That's my take on it, because we've tried quite a few suggestions, we've tried quite a few pathways, and to me, it's the understanding of that reaction being quite key. But at the same time, to your point of the triggers, because you've quite rightly mentioned, there's an option to be mindful mindful of the comments that the posts might generate on Instagram, and then utilize those comments as the follow-up for DMs, which to me is another interesting tool to make yourself relevant out there, and not just simply, spray and pray for them to be able to, expect for them some form of a reaction. Otherwise, you're really becoming relevant with that type of communication. In terms of what you're seeing your end, is there any form of like internal reporting that you guys might be looking at across all of your client base to be able to see which ones of your current tools is being more in use and which one is being more effective when it comes to building the long tail of conversations?
It really depends on the client for us, of which channels that they're generating, the most response from. In the US and Canada, SMS is a really important channel for
Good to know.
customers. Yeah, right now we support those countries just in terms of the text messaging capabilities. And then, like, I think in the UK, a lot of Europe, Instagram is our most utilized channel there. And then the email capabilities are really new. So I haven't seen, I expect to see that one grow a lot as time goes on.
Tell me a little bit about this email capability, if that's okay. Would love to hear a little bit more.
Yeah. So, going back to like, what is it that our customers were telling us they needed? And a lot of it came down to, okay, I see that you have all these integrations and connections with social media, text messaging, my website chat, but like, how do I generate leads at the top of the funnel? Like, and I can see that I can qualify leads automatically. I can send, people down the funnel through these automated conversations, but like, how am I going to like keep pouring leads in at the top? Well, that's kind of where we kind of identified the need for X-ray vision, as well as our prospecting database that we have as well. And we focused, like, looking at the market. There's a lot of data out there that you can find relevant prospects in the B2B space, but less so in the B2C space. So we developed our prospecting network for B2C businesses, marketers, and sales teams, with filters and capabilities to search based on buying intent, interest, kind of more aligned with like Instagram and Facebook. By looking at the Instagram user base, whether it's people that they're following, what's in their bio, different tags they're using, you can actually start to see intent of B2C like customers, consumers. And that's part of the solution for that top of funnel lead generation component. And so once you know who these target prospects are, how are you going to reach out to them? You can't through Instagram, right? You can't send a message to Instagram through an API or at scale.
Yeah, unsolicited. Yeah.
Maybe you have a VA that's out there like searching these hashtags and kinds of things, but it's not going to be like an automated system. But email is how you can reach people. And that's when we realized that we needed to add email to the channel support. And that's kind of where it all comes back around to like the system that we developed that allows for cold out email outbounding, with different like email deliverability warm up and systems in place to help your message get to those people, even though it's a kind of more cold outreach, whether it's a like lead list that you upload, a newsletter list that you want to help kind of further qualify and move through your funnel. And so right now it's Google Gmail support through the platform.
Got you. Excellent. Thank you. And amongst the tools that you currently have, what role would you say would come to the subscription messaging?
Subscription messaging, that's a fun one. And so Facebook Messenger, when they first came out with their API,
Mm-hmm.
they had this thing where you could send, once somebody had become a contact through them starting a message with your business, you can send them a message back. Pretty much unlimited was how the API started out. And then in order, like they kind of kept changing their policies. So then you needed to
As
get,
you usually do.
yeah, right, familiar territory. Um, so as the target kept moving, it was like, here's how you are allowed to message um, subscribers on Messenger. And then they took it away. You couldn't message them like except in the first 24 hours and all this, and rules kept changing. So where we're at today is that they have Facebook Messenger. You can again send messages in a subscriber based way. The user will tell you how frequently that they want to receive messages from you, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. And then kind of like the technical stuff on the back end is then that user receives a token with which you can send them messages at that frequency as a subscriber. And so it's, I think what they're calling it now is recurring notifications.
Interesting. Let me note it down. Recurring notifications.
Mhm.
Nice. Excellent. Thank you so much for this update. It's basically an industry update within Facebook API. The other thing I would be interested, I know we have a few minutes left, but literally this one is more around the audiences that I'm particularly interested in. So this one says about 78% of millennials today would prefer getting a chat message than an email from brands that they follow. That's the progression of the way that the communication is flowing. But then does this signal to you the death of the communication tools such as email in favor of chat communication, or you're seeing them coexisting in this ecosystem?
Yeah, I think that there's um the death of email.
I know it's a bit of a cliche, this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day when we can send messages like mind to mind or something like that.
Wow, that
Yeah.
would be quite futuristic, but you know, we never know.
Yeah, I know I've subscribed to so many SMS and chat updates. I love the, if you're going on an airline, of course you're going to subscribe to see if you're going to have a delay or a gate change or anything like that. So there's just so many reasons why you might want to have like a text message. It's more real time than email. It's going to get to you faster. And if things are time sensitive, or you just really, really like that brand a lot and you want to be the first to know, like I have so many lovely product brands that I subscribe to their SMS updates. And I think the key to keeping me subscribed there is make sure that it's entertaining and visual and cool. And I'm getting a ton of value, whether it's like knowing about the sale alerts or, but what we have seen is that especially for a service or consultative sales based business, that when you pair the like direct message or instant message or chat kind of communications with email, then you'll see a higher conversion rate. So it's kind of like have the email in the inbox for when they get to it, and then send a text message like, hey, just wanted to make sure that you saw my email. Or if it's a little bit more timely, then you can send like see you in an hour for our call or something like that. It's great to have both channels engaged with at whenever you can, more touch points, right?
I can definitely see a reason in your answer, especially when you're mentioning the time element, because I feel that the timestamp is absolutely crucial here. Like you can't just immediately send them over, another form of a touch-based communication, and just expect them to not freak out. That's a little bit of more of a gentle communication that needs to happen, but it's also the what type of message do you want to serve them so that it's still becoming relevant and not repetitive, because a lot of marketers tend to make it repetitive across channel. Job done, you've enabled all of the channels out there, and then you're hoping by spraying and praying that it would work. Like, it usually doesn't. So therefore, this type of intelligence in terms of educating the marketers what to serve, when to serve, I think it's going to be a little bit more polished in future, because not everyone out there knows that.
Yeah. And best practices can get you so far, right? A lot of times you want to test your audience tolerance. So I would say to that, like, don't be afraid to run tests and to sometimes break things, maybe even annoy people. You can't know what the limits and the boundaries are unless you try.
No, absolutely. I think we've uncovered quite a few topics here, like audience tolerance, communication via Instagram, making it relevant, sequenced communication as well. All of these are some of the great topics that are needed to be explored by marketers, and not just marketers and advertisers alone as well. So I'm very grateful for your time today, Virginia. Thank you so much. I know we might have just scratched the surface with how important this topic is at the minute for marketers, but likewise, whoever might be seeing this later on, I'm absolutely positive you'd be very keen to, reply back, as we are responsive businesses, aren't we? So therefore, thank you so much again, and wishing you all the best with developing further more nice ideas in the future.
Thank you, Nadia. It was very fun to explore these topics with you today in the audience. And if anybody does want to reach out, Nussey at MobileMonkey.com. And I look forward to also talking more about the projects that we're running with you, Nadia.
Thank you. I'd be very keen, and I'd be very keen to test them too. So hence why my genuine interest in like how to better communicate with customers, you see. So that's one of the quests out there. Thanks, Emil, and enjoy the rest of the week and the weekend.
You too.
Thank you, lovely. All the best. Bye-bye.